Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video, which will explore the hamburger paragraph. Now, we talk about how to set out essays, how to format paragraphs, how to structure sentences. So the key messages are that paragraphs, if you're writing an essay, we write in paragraphs. If we're writing an essay, we also write an introduction and a conclusion. There are videos on introductions and conclusions on the YouTube channel. Please check them out. There are also essays, well, all formats, but essays need to adhere to the format you've been asked to do. So the length and the style. Is it reflective or is it academic? And it also needs to meet the learning outcomes. So please, when you're planning an essay, think about all of those things. What's my word count? What's my subject? What's the style? And what are the learning outcomes actually asking me to do? So please look at the video for introduction, conclusions, and learning outcomes as well. We also have several help mechanisms, don't we? We usually have formative weeks. We have Yolanta and the NRC. We have me. We have your module leads. There are lots of ways in which we can say, I would need help. Even if you're in year one, you would have had some feedback about this. So if you completed the induction assignment, you probably have had some feedback about your writing style if you chose to take part in that task. If you're in year two and year three, then you probably definitely got feedback from your previous assignments. What we absolutely urge you to do is go back to your last submission, be it the induction assignment, be it an assignment from a previous year. Look at all of the feedback that you've been given, feed these targets into AI and ask for some thematic targets to help you move forward. So is it always that, you need to be careful of sentence length? So sentences are about 8 to 20 words long. Paragraphs are about 8 to 10 sentences long, not line sentences. So simple things like that can help us. The other thing that can help us is the hamburger paragraph. So some people, this is just my way of teaching paragraphs, by the way. It's not, I didn't invent them. Yeah, lots of people have heard me talk about this before. And what is that hamburger? What does it mean? Anyway, you will find out today. Just to refer you back to a folder that you will have in your teams. So if you go to your current class or previous classes, if you've been with us for the year before, and go to class materials, and you will find a folder called Academic Skills and Head Start. Now, these are the kind of things that we recommend you either come to class and cover with us, or if you're doing a long day, that you look at in your own time. There's loads of help in there as well. So if you're accessing or trying to do this asynchronously, i.e. is outside of normal office hours, and you're thinking, I don't know what that is, or I don't know what Louise is talking about, have a little scroll through there. The other thing to tell you is, I've said about the rest of the YouTube videos, the other thing is there's usually a tutorial walkthrough video, and there's usually previous submissions that you can look at. So there's lots and lots of ways you can access help asynchronously. Anyway, I'm going to have a little look at the hamburger paragraph. So I'm going to share a screen with you, and hopefully you can see it. It's just a Google search. So I've done a search for paragraph hamburger, and I've not even put a space in it, and it's come up with what I want. So let's try and do that, shall we? They've got examples and actually just pictures. So there's various pictures. I like this one. So if you think about it, this is from the University of Waterloo. We're not going to make reference to it, but actually it's just giving us some examples. So if you imagine a paragraph like hamburger, right? So the first point is the actual, I'm going to make a point. I'm going to introduce this person to my actual subject area. So for perhaps your experience, you're going to talk about, I don't know, how Piaget contributes to child development. So you're going to say Piaget suggested a 4-step approach to child development. That would be your point, your original point, right? That's how you start. Now, if you start a paragraph and you're making a strong point like that, paragraphs always, usually, unless you're doing it reflectively, they start from a reference point. So it's not okay for me to just go, Piaget had a 4 stages approach to child development and not include a reference. I know this kind of, a lot of us know that, but actually, if you think about what you're doing in an academic essay, is you're evidencing your reading and research and your knowledge. Now, knowledge at level 4, 5, and 6 comes from practice, and it comes from theory. Now, it's okay later to link in practice, but we need to start with those strong theories. So make sure that when you start a paragraph, you start from a research or reference point, and this should clearly be identifiable in your text by using the Harvard referencing style. So we're going to do that. We've just told you that Piaget had this 4 steps approach. So, okay, so what does that mean? Or how might that look? Or why is that important? So we then would make another point. So we're going to explain what we mean by that. So for example, if you talked about Piaget, you could then expand on this point by saying one of these stages is sensory motor. This means blah, right? So you're going to expand on that by highlighting a point, again, from a reference point. If you want top marks, you're going to use different reference points. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Then you're going to make a third point. So like, how does that exactly, like, what are you, maybe you're going to give an example. So maybe you're going to say something like Piaget had a 4 stages approach. One of these stages was sensory motor. This is between the ages of blah, 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 blah. And this means this. So you're going to get that from reading as well. So we've got 1, 2, 3 points from reading. And then you're either going to use another point from reading to expand on it. You could say something like, this is in opposition to Maslow, who stated that at all stages of life, we need to fulfill our basic desires, whereas Piaget suggested, given the right environment, and actually everyone's going to pass through those stages. He didn't really place a huge amount of emphasis on the adult in the scenario, just culture, the environment, and cognitively, I'm going to process that thing. So you're gonna perhaps then expand that point. What have you done in that paragraph? I've acknowledged that I know who Piaget is. I've acknowledged I know what his theory is. I acknowledge I know what particularly one of those stages are, and also what some of the contentions might be there, or some of the arguments, or some of the complexities with that. And actually, before I move on, so now I've argued point, or point, explain, analyze, evaluate. I've done those things. Before I move on, right, I need to prove that I know what this means. And the best way to do this, even in an academic essay, is to say this can be seen in practice by children doing X, however, also needing Y. So you could say something like, this can be evidence in practice by children doing this, or like doing this at a certain age. Sorry, it's got caught on my words. This at a certain age, however, needing the environment and the psychological safety to be able to achieve. You're showing that those bits of theory, right, I'm going to make it real for you now. Like, I'm going to just say what I know what all those things mean. Because actually, even in an academic essay, arguing reference after reference after reference after reference is great, but it's kind of pointless unless we know what that looks like in practice. So yeah, anyway, so have a go at that, have a think about that, come back to us with any thoughts that you have, or if you're confused, do some more research, read in, look at the example essays, look at all your feedback, and do what we'd call feed forward. So you grab all your feedback that you've had so far and you try to apply it. We call this feed forward. Look at the marking criteria as well, look at those learning outcomes, write a paragraph, send it to us, and we'll give you some feedback. Well done, everyone.